Hello there and welcome to today's United Kingdom talk. First of all, a little apologies for those of you that watch a show on one of the video channels about the shirt last week. I noticed after finishing the show and going upstairs to the studio and editing the programme, it looked rather unironed, didn't it? Now, I've got to admit to you, I'm not someone that spends hours every week ironing everything that comes out of the washing machine. We just don't do it. Can't see the point in doing that. In fact, I would say I get the iron out once a month, occasionally, to iron the shirt that I wear on this programme. That's the only time it ever comes out, okay? Now, I think what happened is that I span my clothes in the washing machine on the wrong spinning cycle. You know when you do the washing, I have a choice of spinning at 600 RPM or 1,200 RPM. And I accidentally span at 1,200 RPM. Not only that, I then left the washing in the machine for an hour or so before it got hung up out here in the lovely garden, which indicated creases. Now, for some reason, I didn't notice this when I put the shirt on, but I certainly noticed it when I watched the video back. So I hope that didn't spoil your eyes. I really ought to learn how to use my appliances, don't you think? Poor old washing machine. 600 RPM is enough. It comes out nice and dry at 1,200, but God, look at the creases. So there we are. Do apologise. Do apologise. Now, Millie, who does her own podcast now, Millie's podcast you can find at milliesworld.com. She is quite new to the podcast community, has been a regular listener and viewer to this show for quite some time now, but she started doing her own podcast, milliesworld.com. And it's all a learning curve, really, because it's all very well saying, oh, well, how do you do it to whoever? We all have different computer systems, so it can be a little bit, it's a little bit of a trial and error thing. And poor Millie, bless her heart, last week I was trying to help her by, there's this program, have a look at this, logmein.com. Logmein.com. And the idea is you can install this on your computer, and I have it on my computers, and then you can operate your computer from anywhere in the world from another computer. You know, it's almost like having an extended keyboard wherever you are in the world. Now, Millie's been having a little problem with her sound quality on her podcasts. And I was kind of trying to talk her through it, but it was a bit awkward. We weren't quite sure what was... Oh, it's not a noise. What's that noise? Squirrels in the tree. Squirrels. Can you hear them? Jumping from branch to branch, aren't they? Happy little things. Where was I now? Oh, yes, Millie and a computer. So I got her to log this thing, put this thing in on a computer, and then you have to give it a username and a password. Otherwise, you can't have every Tom, Dick and Harry, dear, logging into your computer, looking at your private things. Would you like me to do that? Look into the private folders on your computer? Would you trust me, eh? Can I have a little look inside your gubbins? Can I? So she put it all in, and we just couldn't, for some reason, we just couldn't get it going. And apparently, I think she gave me the wrong username and password. But never mind, we get there in the end. Do not worry, Millie. Okay, so once again, if you want to have a little listen to Millie's podcast, it's at milliesworld.com. Good title. I thought of that title. Me, Chris Reardon. Yes, I thought of that title. milliesworld.com. That's where you'll find her podcast. Okay. One other thing, I have started doing... Oh, the weight. It's not gone up this week. Put it that way. 13 stone 4.6. We're having trouble with the weight again. I have managed this week to knock a couple of sandwiches on the head that I keep buying on the way home. This is where it's coming. I know that's where it's coming from. I'm almost 100% sure that's where... do you know, I keep thinking one of these squirrels is going to jump onto my head in a minute, dear. Rather nervous here. Will it eat me? Do squirrels eat people? That's a little bit worrying, that, isn't it? Anyway, yes, I've started doing sit-ups this week. Now, this week, I think on Monday... What day is it now for you? Thursday, isn't it? Yes, I think I did 2 lots of sit-ups so far. Both of about 30. You know, so 2 days in a row I did 30 sit-ups. And I looked at myself in the mirror just before I come to do the show today. I can't see any difference. Isn't that shocking? There doesn't seem to be any difference in my stomach after doing 2 lots of sit-ups. What's going on there? I mean, for God's sake, how many do you have to do? Can anyone advise me? Do we have any fitness instructors watching the show today? Do please let me know where I'm going wrong. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, join in at any time, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Saw a very interesting article, 2 articles actually, on the BBC News website, which is the best website ever, isn't it? The BBC website, bbc.co.uk, if you want to have a look at all of that. The wonderful news and weather, everything's on there, just everything. And it said, on the 20th of May, a week ago, an event known as Digital Death Day brought together the businesses of social networking, data management and death care. Okay, death care. And what it's saying is we have reached a critical mass of personal data online. And when I think about that, you know, that's so true. I mean, I put so much online. I've got all my photograph albums. I put DJ music mixes on there for people to download. You can try one of those. They're all free. You can find those at show..Watch. It's non-stop music. I usually put up 1 new one every week. Okay, hour and 20 minutes long, all right? Once again, show.co.Uk, an hour and 20 minutes of non-stop music. You might want to use that at one of your parties or something. It doesn't bother me. You carry on. All fully licensed. Don't be sending me letters about licenses. I've got the podcast license, which I pay an arm and a leg for, dear. Actually, it's not much. It's about £125 a year I pay for that, so we've got the podcast licence. Oh, talking of licences, did I tell you I'm going to have to get my new car tax this year? Yes, £20. £20 car tax for the whole year. It's cheap, isn't it, eh? Most of my mates are paying about £180, £20, because I've got a little one. I have got a little one. It's a Toyota Aygo. Eh? You got a big one, have you? Oh, well, wonderful for you, dear. Wonderful for you. Car-wise, I have a little one. Pardon? Yes, okay then. So, anyway, this woman is referring to the billions and billions of pages held on Facebook and all the other social networking sites. And the point is, what happens to all this stuff when you die? Okay? Because I'm sure you, like me, perhaps sometimes you go on holiday for a couple of weeks. Or actually, no, this isn't true, because I always find a computer and log on. But we all go away, or we don't go on sites. I expect 1 or 2 people who are listening or watching this programme today, you've joined certain user groups or forums, or even things like MySpace. How many people have got a MySpace account and haven't logged into that for months? And yet, I can guarantee, if you log into it later, even if you haven't logged it, it'll still be there. Your username and password will still be there, along with all the information that you've supplied on it. This stuff just seems to stay there for years and years, doesn't it? Have you thought about that? So, presumably, when we die, this stuff is still going to be on there, is it? There must be Facebook profiles and websites of people that have died a couple of years ago. Obviously, you know, not going to go back too far here, because computers have only been around for 20 years or so. Certainly Facebook's only been around for a handful of years. So it's not going to be on that, it's not going to go back that far. But you and I, the people who are doing this Facebook now, and indeed these programmes, these shows that I'm doing now that are uploaded to Libsyn, okay? Well, the Libsyn ones, I suppose, when I die, whenever that may be, you just never know, they will disappear, because I won't be paying the the subscription to Libsyn. However, with YouTube, Current TV, Blip TV, your shows will remain on there. I wonder for how long. Will these companies ever start deleting this stuff, or does it just continue to grow ever bigger? Which is an interesting thing, isn't it? It says, oh, I've lost the bit now. Let me see. It says there's no standard practice across the industry to what should happen when people die. There are no norms for how digital assets are passed on to heirs. Because, of course, some of the stuff is worth money, I suppose. Now, when it comes to doing these shows and my music stuff and all that, I'm not a very good businessman, really. I don't charge for anything. Quite frankly, I wonder, or I don't believe anyone would pay to watch this show, or listen to my music downloads, or listen to my music and show. I don't believe anyone would pay for that. I'm not very good at monetising things. On the other hand, I don't need the money. I'm fine, do you know? I have a job that keeps me able to do all these things. I wouldn't want to charge. So I'm not a very good businessman that way. However, there are some people who do charge and make quite a lot of money out of things on the internet. And I wonder, if you die, who then has that money? Can it be passed on? Like, for example, when I die, my house is in my will and will be passed on to my family. Right? Is it the same with internet stuff? People that have got internet businesses, maybe they have some eBay accounts where they're selling things and then they die, but the stuff continues to get sold and automatically goes out. Some is all automatic, isn't it? And then you would accumulate money. I wonder who has that money. If you know the answer to that, do give us an email and let me know, okay? Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Chris@UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. All right, boys and girls, email time. First of all, a brand new listener. Hello to Junior. We are loving the name Junior. I wish I could be called Junior, but I'm too old now, so I can't be called Junior. However, hi Chris, my name is Junior. I'm from Brazil. Oh, love to visit your country. I would like to visit your rainforest. Please stop chopping it down. What's going on? I'm writing to tell you that I love your show, despite not being able to watch or listen to it often. I would also like to add that as an English student, I would have learnt many new words and improved my listening abilities from your shows. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. And another way to learn English, and I always mention this, is to listen to BBC programmes. You know, that's kind of known as BBC English. It's very proper. But don't listen exclusively to BBC stuff. You need to listen to a broad spectrum. It's the same as this. Don't just listen to this and learn from this. There are many, just download all sorts of shows and you'll pick up all the different regional accents and sort of learn different ways of speaking. Certainly, you know I use the term dear a lot. Hello dear, how are you? And all that, right? Well, actually, dear is not that common in the English. It's only me. Okay. I would appreciate it, says Junior, if you presented a show about learning languages. Thank you for reading my message. Bye. Well, a show about learning languages, I'm afraid that I am not very good at learning language. I think it just depends on the person. I know people that can speak 5, 6, 7 languages and they can learn a language just like that. Very, very clever. Very clever indeed. But me, I find great difficulty in learning languages, not for me, so I don't know how I would present a show on learning languages. You can always have classes. I don't know what you like with your school classes, doing learning and all that. All right? Oh, I wanted to show you a new gadget. Now, I've bought this. I've got to show this to you today because it's going away today. Look at this. I have purchased a megaphone. This is wonderful. You push a... and it's not for me, actually. One of my managers, her name's Vicky. She works at Belushi's in Hammersmith on Mondays and Saturdays while I'm there. She is actually the manager of the venue. And she is the most wonderful pet. We get on like a house on fire. And she is as mad as me. I'm very pleased to say we are on the same level. She is absolutely as mad as me. And sometimes if I'm playing my DJing on a Saturday night and she doesn't like the music, she stops what she's doing. You know, it'd be a packed pub. And then from the middle of the bar screams across at me, "Are you taking the FNP?" Okay, obviously I can't swear. This is not a show where we swear on. Now, I did do that one. I did swear on the show once, going back a few months, and I upset a lot of people. So I do apologise for that. I said to this on a couple of shows ago. I listened to someone else, and they suggested that I let it all go and just come straight out with everything. I did it, and I've regretted that ever since. Believe me, I've regretted that ever since. I do not believe there are certain ways of doing shows, and how I'm doing it now is how I believe it should do. So in future, I shan't listen to other people. But nevertheless, so she screams down the bar, swear words, "Are you taking the effing pee?" Right? So I have bought her this megaphone. And you push a button, so it's got a little button underneath. It's red and white. It's a big old thing. It's not exactly light. It takes 8 batteries in here. And you push the button, and then you speak in it, "Are you taking the effing pee?" Like that, you see. And she'll be able to give me her instructions like that. Do we like that idea? Eh? Wonderful. Not only that, it's also got a siren on it. Look at this. I can't do that too long because the neighbours might know. Let's try one again. Listen, have a listen to this. You like that, don't you? Eh? So now it actually wasn't expensive at all. That was about £30. Another item that I'm pleased to say I found on eBay. Wonderful, wonderful device. And I shall give her this tonight, and she will just fall on the floor. She will absolutely fall on the floor when she sees that. It's also got a little detachable microphone on it, so that you can pull the microphone off and then kind of position it somewhere and then just use the microphone like that, you say. It's quite good, isn't it? I could do my entire show. I could set a couple of these up on the ceiling, I reckon, or on the roof of the house, so that more people would be forced to listen to this load of rubbish. What do you reckon? Is that a good idea? I must play. Perhaps I could set that up outside a window in the car. And then people would move out of the way. I'm liking the idea of that. Good. Oh, boys and girls, if you're in the UK, then this podcast is first published on a Thursday. Just don't forget the Eurovision Song Contest is on Saturday night. Now, I am supposed to be... Let me just move around a little bit here. I'm supposed to be hosting a Eurovision night at Belushi's in Borough on Saturday night. Now, I did advertise this. We're not sure if we're going to be able to do this now because it involves some technical stuff which I don't think is actually possible in this particular venue. Basically, I commentate on the night rather than have the commentary on the television. Now, to do this, you've got to have the sound from the television coming into a device called a mixer, which mixes all the sounds together. I've got to be next to that mixer and turning buttons up and down as I speak. Now, unfortunately, the way the televisions have been wired in this particular venue is that the television is switched behind the bar. So it doesn't actually come through the mixer. So it may well not be possible to do this event. All right. So I just wanted to say, if you were thinking of coming down for that particular Eurovision thing, it's possible that we might not be able to do it. All right. So just to let you know there. Okay, back to these emails. Oh, I didn't realise the time. It's lovely to hear from Suko. She says, "Dear Chris, I hate to admit it, but because I've gotten so involved with the live shows on United Kingdom Radio, I haven't had time to listen to your now twice weekly recorded show." Well, I am shocked and horrified, to be honest, Suko. I really am. It's terrible. As you know, I'm not doing a live show at the moment on United Kingdom Radio. I will, in the future, at some point, go back to doing at least one on there, and it will be an hour long. When? I don't think it will be before the end of the summer. The reason being, I want to spend a bit more time outdoors doing things outside. You understand what I mean? Huh? Because I always miss the summer because I'm in my studio doing editing or music things, something like that. And I thought, you know, I've got to get out a bit. I want to go to the seaside and places like that. So that's why. But with, of course, the recorded show, the beauty of that is I can take this camera anywhere and just do a show. which is wonderful, which of course we will be doing again this summer, as we've done previous years, all right? She says, since you are no longer a presence on United Kingdom Radio, and the Reardon withdrawal I am going through is so painful, I needed to resume listening to the recorded shows. Well, yes. No, I'm not on United Kingdom Radio as such, although the audio stream, as you know, the audio stream, if you want to have a look at this, by the way, we've got a few presenters on there. Now, United Kingdom Radio is something that was an idea of Ross, and I came along as well with it, and I'm really running most of what goes on there now. Okay? And I found it very difficult to run things as they are and also be on the station at the same time. It was taking an awful lot of time. So I've taken a step back, and although the station is up and running, and I think we've got well, I think there's four presenters on there now. It's slowly expanding. You can have a look if you want. UnitedKingdomRadio.co.uk. UnitedKingdomRadio.co.uk. Lee, who's one of the presenters, he runs the website side of things. I'm not one to build websites. I've really got no interest at all in learning how to build a website or anything like that. So Lee does all that, but the kind of bits where it's seeing how everything runs and doing the podcasts and sorting out the audio stream, I do all that now, and sorting out the Skype and what have you. What was she saying here? Yeah, so I'm not on there, but yes, I am quite involved with it. All right. This particular show is carried on the United Kingdom Radio audio stream. Now, the audio stream on that station carries all the live programmes, and when there are no live programmes on, it carries recordings of the live programmes and also this one. So you can now hear United Kingdom talk on the United Kingdom Radio audio stream, which is also available now on a lot of Wi-Fi radios. I've managed to get the station listed on lots of Wi-Fi radios. If you have got a Wi-Fi radio, then search for United Kingdom Radio, and you should find it on there somewhere. If you've got a excuse me, if you've got a Wi-Fi radio and you can't find United Kingdom Radio, please let me know, and I'll look into that. I will need to know what make of radio you have, and possibly the model number as well, and I'll look into that for you. If you haven't got a Wi-Fi radio, you are missing out. Next time you buy a radio, don't buy one that's just FM, or certainly not just DAB. Get a Wi-Fi radio that you can listen to internet radio stations on, because there is so much choice. You will need Wi-Fi in the house as well, okay? The radios are more expensive than standalone FM or DAB ones, but there's so much choice on there, all right? You should really think about getting a Wi-Fi radio. Suko says, I've missed the captivating tales of broken bread machines, hanging baskets. Oh, well, my hanging baskets are doing very well at the moment, thank you, Suko. Very well. My winter pansies are still blooming, although I must start planting my new summer baskets soon, my summer hanging baskets. Rude service people at Tesco and Aldi's, and whether Katie is sleeping in the kitchen or the shed. Katie, at the moment, she has moved into the shed. She has. She's sleeping in here. Katie, would you come out? Nope, she's... Where is she anyway? I don't know where she is, actually. I think she's in there at the moment having a little nap. I've noticed she is sleeping a lot more now. Well, I suppose she's getting old, isn't she? Katie, I think she's about 12 years old now. I can't believe she's been with me for 10 years. I remember the very first day that I collected Katie when Mum first went into hospital, and of course she didn't come out. And I went round to collect Katie, and she absolutely hated me. She hid behind the washing machine, hissing and snarling at me, and eventually she came out after many days, I think, and now we are the best of friends, myself and my mum's cat. I always refer to her as my mum's cat. Yeah. She says, I've lost sleep wondering how your asthma is and whether your weight is up and down. Well, the asthma is a lot better now that the weather's warmed up. Hardly have to touch the puffer at all. Weight has kind of gone up a bit again, but we're working on it. I hadn't realised how much I missed the emails from Carl of Yorkshire, Susan the cat lover. I don't know what's happened to Susan. I've sent her a couple of emails, but nothing's coming back. I hope I didn't upset her with that dodgy show I did months ago now. I should never give myself. There were a couple of other people emailing in privately who don't want to be named, and I shan't mention their names, but they really didn't like that very first live show I did, and that's my fault for listening to someone else. Susan the cat lover, I hope, Susan, if you are watching or listening to the show, do just drop us a little note and tell us you're all right. And Robert from Iceland and his troll stories. Most of all, I miss the shirts, the striped ones, the solids and the checked. I really miss those shirts. I was writing this email as an apology for neglecting the recorded shows. Because of my inflated ego, I thought my absence was a detriment to the show and had most probably resulted in a decrease in your listenership. Oh, did you really? Do you really think your emails are that important to the show, Suko? Eh? Is that what you think, lovey? Is it? She says, oh, where have those provocative emails from Suko gone? To my dismay, she says, I find I am dispensable. In fact, you said it, dear, not me. I never said you was dispensable. You said it, not me, dear. 1 minute, how long have we got to go here? Oh, we're nearly done, aren't we? Look at the time. Let me see. I find, in fact, there is a little time for you to go on and on about what's happening in the world of Reardon because of the overabundance of emails from all the new listeners. Well, that's partly my fault for, number one, cutting the shows down from an hour to half an hour, and number two, then cutting out 1.5 hour shows. But for now, that's how it is. So we'll see how we get on. All right? She says it's... Oh, by the way, when I start the live show again, whenever that is, probably I think around September, if. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. But if I do, it will be more like this. It will be just a general chat round the table with the differences, of course, of you being able to call in. We won't have any swearing or anything like that. Big mistake. I keep going on about it. I should move on from that now and just forget it ever happened. By the way, if you're looking for that one online, I don't think you'll find it. I'm pretty sure I deleted that one. I was so disgusted with myself for even allowing myself to do that. She says, it's sobering. I must come to terms with the fact that life goes on without me. Well, I'm afraid, Suko, it does. And life will go on without me one day. I know it's hard to imagine. But in 25,000 years' time, because I have been booked for the next 25 years to do this show, and I'm going to talk for every last minute, I will still be here. But after that day, I shall disappear, and believe it or not, life will go on. I shall probably have a bigger funeral than the Queen Mother. I really will. People will be throwing themselves onto the coffin as I'm buried. They will. Well, actually, I'm hoping not to be buried. I think I'd like to go in one of those, you know, those like stacks of, they put stacks of coffins in, like, what are they, mausoleums? I quite like one of those, with a little picture of me, or perhaps a video of me. A little video of me on the front door for people to watch. Eh? Just rotating all my shows. So it is with great humility that I pass the torch to the likes of Vicky, Ashley, Jennifer and Sarah. And Dallas, of course. I look forward to hearing about your lives, your likes, your family secrets and what Peanut, Dotty Watt and Pop Tart are up to. It's been a great ride. Now it's your turn. Thank you, Suko. Lovely email. Keep writing in, Suko. Keep writing in, dear. That's it for the show today. Emails in the next show from Roberts, Jennifer and Vicky. My email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. See you on the next show. Bye-bye now.